At Auto Trader, we've driven pretty much every new car going during 2016. So we thought we'd assembled the sharp end of Auto Trader's road test team to talk about the best and worst offerings of the last year. And I'd like to kick things off by discussing what I think is the best car of the year. There were some pretty handy contenders, but for me the most surprising car of last year was the Peugeot 3008, because let's be honest, it was a fairly average offering before. But Peugeot have really upped their game in terms of the practicality, the quality, and the way it drives. The ride on it is really smooth, really impressive.
The interior is just unbelievable as well, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Quality, as you say. Plus, it's just really imaginative to be styled as well.
No, I think that's right. I think the styling's crucial with 3008, because before it was this sort of frumpy looking MPV type thing, and now it's a much more rugged, much more, I hate to use the word, but macho SUV, and the world is becoming swamped by SUVs, but somehow these guys are making SUVs that still look different to each other. That's amazing.
And if you're taking the looks and the interior quality and the versatility of the thing, it all adds up to a really appealing package. So, what's your pick of the year?
Well, there have been a few cars that have really impressed me this year. In terms of the car this year that's, I think, really hit the nail on the head when it comes to cornering its market, is the Volvo V90. I know it may come as no news to you that Volvo have made a big estate that's really good. This may not be news, but in terms of its comfort, its refinement, and again, that interior quality, it's interesting that we're all three of us picking up on interior quality, but to me, that cabin, that control unit, sensors control.
I think it's interesting that the Chinese have left them to their own devices. Because the great fear was that they've come in and they've just cut all the costs out of the cars, but they haven't. They've gone on with it, and as you say, they've produced some fantastic cars now.
So Pete, what would be your pick for the year?
I think, although the Focus RS kind of did everything that you needed to do, and it was a truly worthy winner of our hot hatch car of the year, the AMG, the A45 for me, and the thing about it, it really shocked me, that car, because I drove it originally, and it wasn't a bag of nails, but it wasn't great.
It was wide of the mark, wasn't it?
And I had some run-ins with the engineers as well. Trust me. So I was really surprised when I got to drive the revised model and just how much the work they'd done on it. The suspension was so much more supple. The car just cornered beautifully, flat, loads of grip, and the steering, although it was really, really delicate, so precise. And obviously the power. I mean, wow,
brutal.
That thing is a proper weapon.
So, that's the good bits of the year. Now it's time for the less appealing task of talking about the not so good points of the year. And again, I should kick things off. And I may cause a bit of controversy with this one.
No. That's not like you at all, no. They chorus in unison. My
vote for the car I was most disappointed by this year has to go to the Aston Martin DB11. Yes, the V12 sounds amazing and the power it provides is staggering, pretty much. But for me, there has to be more dynamic polish for a car like that. The suspension, the damping's just not tight enough. The throttle and the brakes have too abrupt an action, and it's really unsettling. And the whole thing feels like it's just trying to get away from you the whole time.
It's kind of funny with cars like that. You almost want them set up so like any fool can drive them, to be quite honest, because they've got so much power. They're so fast, The last thing you want is to be, for the things to be terrifying you. Like, if you took an Audi R8, for instance, as you say, any mug can drive that quickly. And that's, that's a testament to the engineers, the chassis setup, You do not want it to be edgy. Trust me, with that amount of power, you do not need edginess.
That's it, and they've set it up to be a savage, but with the best will in the world, a car like that, as like a GT car, albeit a sporty one, you want it to be pleasant. You don't want it to be.
It's on the wrong side of the line, isn't it? Really.
Exactly.
I think the most disappointing things for me this year, I think some of the things Mercedes have produced this year have been really, really good. But among the most disappointing cars this year was the Mercedes SLC. I mean, you can give that car a new name. That's an SLK that was knocking around when Noah was a lad. No matter how disappointing that was, far and away, I think I can say the worst car I drove this year was another Mercedes product, a Mercedes AMG G63.
Oh,
Yeah,
if you're talking about old cars.
I mean, yeah, I think Noah's parents were lads when that one was kicking around. It's donkey's years old, and it's unrefined, it's uncomfortable. I'm amazed that a car that big has so little space inside. And it was the G63. It was monstrously powerful, but way too powerful for its own good.
Yeah, but it's really cheap though, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Compared to a Maisonette in Mayfair, it is very, very cheap. But compared to any other car, that's the real kicker. You get all that lack of comfort, lack of refinement, lack of practicality, quite scary drive in the wrong circumstances, and they charge you 160 grand for the privilege. So, P, I appreciate that's maybe a difficult act for you to follow, but what really disappointed you this year?
Well, quite a lot if I'm honest. Don't get me started on the 718. Let's just not go there. But I think what was key this year for me was how careful you've got to be when choosing certain cars. You know, you turn up for Mini, for instance, right? Okay, the Clubman. First launch I went on, the standard car, low power diesel, front wheel drive, sweet little thing,
Very
really
nice
neat, very, very tidy. Fair bit of space in it, the whole deal. Okay. About 3 months later, they invited us on the 4-wheel drive auto version, the all four.
And
Man, oh man, it was like it was from a different planet. I could not believe it. Steering was awful. The gearbox was so intent on trying to get some kind of fuel consumption out of the car that it would change up so early. It would just send kind of massive lug and boom through the car.
Yeah.
It would vibrate from front to back. You could hear it going out the back doors almost. You know? It was absolutely shocking. So that should just be a word of warning to everyone. You know, make sure you choose the right model in the range, because there's a massive difference.
And that was if I remember rightly, that was the SD engine as well. So that's the higher powered 2 litre, which essentially is the same block as in the Cooper D.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
It
I
just
think,
goes to show when you strain the engine.
yeah, because it becomes a lot less refined in SD, guys. So again, it's a measure of how careful you need to be when specifying your car, because one wrong move and you can end up with a bit of a turkey. So those are our best and worst cars of 2016, but we'd like you to tell us what yours were. So feel free to leave us a comment in the box below.